The hell? Do they have a whole retreat for married men on how to goop the girls? I mean, goodness gracious, because it's all the same song. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Let's read about Jackson family values. Child, this is Jermaine's baby man. Jermaine quickly made a deal with the restaurant to pick up the cost of Ketty's cake. And near the end of the meal, he reappeared at our table to serenade the birthday girl. Ooh, Jermaine Jackson serenading you? He would have got me. He started telling me about a music video he was going to be shooting and asked if I'd like to be in it. I said I would, so he took my phone number and said someone might give me a call sometime. The someone turned out to be him. The sometime turned out to be the following morning at 9. I never got to be in the video. The thing you have to do with a Sagittarian is know how to enjoy the moment, because it's going to end. Okay, especially if you're not the common denominator. I hadn't expected for Jermaine to call me or even to save my number. But on January 18th, 1986, the morning after our first meeting, I answered the phone and heard his voice. We had a telephone courtship for the first 2 weeks. Didn't I tell you? That's what them niggas do. That's what them celebrities do. They finesse you first mentally over the phone so that as soon as they see you, they're able to just fall into the underwears. Okay, that's what they do, girl. Oh, they're gonna tell you everything good you want to hear over the phone, girl. Oh, they're gonna finesse you. But regular ninjas, instead of them being on the phone, they can just get up and take you to the movies, or finesse you whatever way that their pockets can allow. But them celebrities, oh, they slicker. Now I ain't gonna spend no money on her. I'm gonna get her just off my words and my name. We had a telephone courtship for the first 2 weeks. He told me about his new record, his plans and his dreams, and seemed interested in what I had to say. You learn in rehab to be honest about your life, so I was entirely open with him about my past and my hopes for a drug-free future. I couldn't imagine what he was thinking, hearing about my overdoses and fast life, since I thought none of the Jacksons had ever tried drugs. Turned on by your life. There's nothing more a fire sign wants than a challenge. They love challenges. Ooh, can I get this reckless ass broad to act right, give me kids, and sit in the house all day? I later realized that wounded or needy women are ideal for Jackson men. They're dependent and easy to control. But at the time, all I could see was that he was showing an honest interest in the fact that I had turned my life around. That impressed me. He talked about his brothers and his parents with such affection that he made his life seem like a fairy tale. Jermaine never gave me his phone number, and I didn't ask for it. As it turned out, that wasn't the only thing I didn't know about him. In each conversation, Jermaine would allude to something he wanted to reveal to me, but wouldn't over the phone. Girl, I talked on the phone 132 times, nigga. Nothing in your mind told you to tell me that you was... Oh, let me tell you one time. Okay, right quick, pause. My dumb ass, one time I was working part-time at Lowe's, right? And I had met this guy. Ooh, he was an attractive thing. Ooh, he was beautiful. My dumb ass, okay? I said, you got a girlfriend? He looked me in my face and said, you talking to me? I said, yeah. You got a girlfriend? And he was like, no. You know why he didn't have a girlfriend? Because he had a whole fucking wife and kids at home. I'll move forward. Jermaine never gave me his phone number, and I didn't ask for it. As it turned out, that wasn't the only thing I didn't know about him. In each conversation, Jermaine would allude to something he wanted to reveal to me, but wouldn't over the telephone. Flowers, chocolates, and sweet notes filled my room. It was fun getting up every day wondering what surprise Jermaine might send my way. I later learned that he had romanced Whitney Houston, the beautiful model Iman and Stevie Wonder's sister. He had courtship down pat. Ooh, I didn't know about Stevie Wonder's sister, y'all. I didn't know about Iman either. The hell is he doing with David Bowie's baby mama? Oh, Jermaine, you think. It's hard for me to be mad at Jermaine Jackson because I know the powers of a Sagittarian man. My stepmother didn't share my enthusiasm for my famous suitor. When I told her about Jermaine's phone calls and presents, she rolled her eyes and gave me that "won't you ever learn" look. I think he's married, Margaret, she told me. I think he's married to Berry Gordy's daughter. You know, the guy who founded Motown. The next time Jermaine called, I asked about his marital status. He told me his marriage to Hazel Gordy Jackson was the secret he hadn't wanted to tell me over the phone. I wanted to explain this in the right way, Margaret, he said, his voice softer than ever. I've been married since I was 19 and I have 2 children, Jermaine Jr. and Autumn Joy. After a pause, he added, "Over though, Margaret, we're planning on getting a divorce. We're only waiting until the end of the school year for the children. The separation will be official by the end of the summer." He sounded so sad and hurt as he told me all this that I felt both relieved and guilty about being angry. He was putting the feelings of his children before his own, and that endeared me to him. What the hell? Do they have a whole retreat for married men on how to goop the girls? I mean, goodness gracious, because it's all the same song. Like, you can't say something different, like that when I married my wife, oh, she turned into a dragon, and then my children turned into bats. Jermaine said his wife Hazel no longer needed him and was no longer content just to be his wife. He said they had gotten married too young, had started a family too soon, and had grown into different people as they had matured. Their love was gone. Their marriage was finished. "We don't even live together anymore," he added, saying he had moved into the guest house on their Brentwood property while Hazel remained with the children in the main house. A few days and many phone calls later, Jermaine invited me to come to the Lion's Share recording studios. When I got there, the place was empty except for his engineer. Isn't that what, okay, so before I move forward, everything about this book says Jan Gay. Okay, Jan Gay did it first. After he was finished at the studio, we got into his limo and drove north on Pacific Coast Highway to Little Beach Town and back again. He held my hand the whole time and listened to every word I said. I felt wonderful and he looked happy. In the following weeks, I saw Jermaine often. I was amazed that each time he picked me up at my house, he seemed to be driving a different car. He had a Ferrari one day and a Rolls Royce the next. That's what them Sagittarians do, girl. I mentioned some of my future plans, telling him my intentions to move in with some friends and buy a car. Jermaine offered to help me out by renting a car for me for a few weeks. I thought that was sweet, and he seemed to want to do it. I expected a VW Rabbit. What I got was a Mercedes-Benz. Ooh. Moving into the large house in Westwood with 2 centered working women, one a violin teacher, the other in real estate, gave me my first true taste of how wonderful life on my own could be. Together we shared a genuine all-for-one attitude that made even the most mundane task seem like fun. Jermaine joined in the spirit of things, endearing himself to my roommates. They thought he was adorable. I went on the road with him during the promotional tour for his new album, Precious Moments. The tour took us to Canada and all over the United States. Jermaine traveled with a trio of regulars: Flip Wilson's son, Kevin, a guy named Franco who turned out to be the short Italian who approached us at Bistangos, and an Israeli security guard who was trained in martial arts and guerrilla warfare. One person who never seemed to be in the picture was Jermaine's wife, Hazel. He never called her when I was around. He didn't refer to her, and her name was never even brought up by those in his entourage, even if, because they was trained. They was trained properly. You ain't the first hoe he catted around with, girl. Don't you ever, while I'm working on this new booty, don't you ever mention Hazel Gordy. And for real, them men might be cheating too, so they know the rules. Even if someone had talked about her, I probably wouldn't have heard it. I was too happy. Jermaine had told me he loved me for the first time. At last, my life was on track. I had put drugs behind me and found a stable gentleman with whom I thought I could raise a family and live happily ever after. He told me he wanted to marry me and that he wanted a baby to start our life together. Child, did he say it while he on top of you? Ooh, have a baby by me. Have a baby by me. Do your wife know that you want to have a baby with me? Ooh, don't worry about that. I found out I was pregnant on Mother's Day 1986. And I was thrilled. In the back of my mind, I began painting that picture of the white picket fence. There would be a nice home in the hills with new babies and husband who loved his children and no drugs. Jermaine seemed delighted with my pregnancy and went around announcing the news to anyone who would listen. We had been seeing each other for 7 months. To me, in real life, you really don't know the person you with until you live with them for at least 3 years. But, you can't tell some people that, you meet a person Monday, you pregnant by Tuesday, y'all live together Wednesday, Friday, he fucking your cousin. We had been seeing each other for 7 months, and his legal separation from Hazel was well underway, or so I thought. I had moved out of the place I shared with my 2 roommates to house sit for a friend who was in the south of France for several months. While I was house sitting, a longtime girlfriend, Kim, was having some problems, so I invited her to stay with me for a few days. One night when she returned from a late dinner with some friends, she seemed upset. After I coaxed and pleaded, the news came tumbling. Jermaine isn't separated from his wife. He's happily married. I'm a good friend of Hazel's 2 brothers, Barry and Kennedy, Kim said. I know what I'm talking about, Margaret. You're crazy, I laughed. He and Hazel don't even talk. He lives in a guest house on a property, but that's it. Well, if he's living in the guest house, why is his wife pregnant?
Oh, my life.